Hello everyone, this is Neronium. Welcome back to Metroid Prime Remastered. Last time we ended up beating the titular Metroid Prime, and as you can see, you can now access this difficulty setting when starting a new game, hard mode. But we're gonna go into extras because we've been unlocking extras throughout the game. We got concept art, we got character gallery and soundtrack gallery. You might notice that I am missing a few things in this gallery. Part of the reason for that, you unlock some extras when you play through hard mode. But as you can see, it took me 16 hours, 40 minutes to beat the game on normal. And then you got casual, as always. I'm curious, though, on hard mode, if it is the fusion suit. So we're going to do this real quick, and then we're going to look at some art. I don't think it's going to be the fusion suit. It might just be that the enemies do more damage. Because the fusion suit was like 2 hits, you're dead. In the original. Fusion suit is always an interesting concept, especially because of everything. Alright. Derelict space vessel aboard Talon 4.
The cosmos in the vast universe.
We're gonna skip that. Huh. Looks like it's not the fusion suit. But we've got scans to do. Some pirate data. So we'll start with the pirate data. Go through all the stuff that we've unlocked. Alright. So Fall of Zebes. Space pirate encrypted data decoded. Log 99923. Zebes has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter clad in metal or in the subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigate Orpheon, Syracuse, and Volparagram were in orbit at 0 hour and managed to retreat. Frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appears to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy, but on restricted feeding schedules due to uncertain supply status. We are ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the hunter. The hunter. 10-023-7. Security command issued on all points alert after the fall of Zebes. The alert concerns Bioform Samus Aran, also known as the Hunter. Subject is heavily armed and extremely dangerous. Subject uses a powered armor suit of unknown design in battle, along with a number of potent beam and concussive weapons. All combat units are instructed to terminate Aran on sight, preferably in a fashion that will allow salvage of her powered armor suit and weapons. A considerable bounty will go to the unit who delivers Aran to the command. Dead or alive, it matters not. Contact. Scans of the spiral sector detected a massive energy spike emanating from the Wanderer-class planet identified as Talon 4. Scout reconnaissance was immediately dispatched to the center of the spike, a landmass at head mark 400802, returning with planetary samples and atmospheric imaging. Analysis shows the energy source to be an unstable radioactive material of enormous potential. We are unable to form an accurate risk assessment at this time, but we are unlikely to find the energy source this powerful again. Analysis will continue, but currently Talon 4 appears to be a viable secondary headquarters. The artifact site. Field team reports are on the age structure of alien design built by the surface of Talon 4. Study shows this structure projects and contaminate a containment field. This field bars entry to a prime source of energy within the deep crater. Science teams believe the field is powered by a number of strange Chozo artifacts. We have found some of these relics, and studies on them have begun. As this field could hinder future energy production operations on Talon 4, and we must dismantle it as soon as possible. If that means the destruction of the Chozo artifacts, it will be done. Phazon analysis. We have codified the newfound energy source as Phazon, a V-index mutagen of which has very little reliable data. Indications point to a meteor of unknown origin expelling Phazon into the environment. This material appears to possess the power to mutate organic life forms sufficiently to withstand its poison. These mutations appear promising, with abrupt evolutionary leaps appearing in single-generation reproduction. Base plans to establish a full science team on Talon 4 are being finalized. Phazon program. Phazon mining is underway. Several garrisons have been established, and terraforming of Chozo ruins is underway. Security systems are operational, and science team continues to make their progress in their biotech research. The Phendrana Drifts have proven to be an optimal location for a research headquarters, and soon it will be joined by a fully operational combat base and starport. If Command's predictions are half true, we shall rise to dominance in this sector with a decacycle. Truly, these are glorious times. Metroid studies. Initial transfer of Metroids to Talon 4 research facilities has been completed. 3 were terminated in an incident at the landing site, but others were pacified and transported safely. Initial Phazon infusion testing is underway. We are eager to observe the effects of Phazon on Metroids, especially their ability to absorb and process the energy given off by the Phazon sources. Early research suggests a considerable growth in power and size. Whether the creatures stay stable thereafter remains to be seen. Parasite larva. Our initial tests exposing Talon 4's indigenous parasites to Phazon appear to be successful. Increases in strength, size, and aggressiveness are common in all test subjects, as well as in unforeseen evolutions like additional poison sacs within the abdomen and the appearance of second ring of mandibles in several subjects. These creatures were chosen because of their resilience, and it appears possible that, given enough exposure to Phazon, they may one day be able to survive on any planet we transport them to. Our methods will have to be refined. We currently have a 100% extinction rate after the 4th infusion period, and most survivors of the 3rd infusion stage are so violent and uncontrollable that they have to be euthanized. Even still, we remain hopeful that the future experimentations will result in success. Mining status. Mining operations have begun near the crater where the Phazon appears to be most concentrated. Daily Phazon yields have increased 44%, and our mining system becomes more streamlined as personnel and equipment flows increase. Several incidents of Phazon-induced madness have been reported, prompting augmented life support regulations in the deeper chambers. Symptoms include loss of equilibrium, erratic respiration, muscle spasms, and, in most extreme cases, hallucinations. A timeline reassessment for the refinery operation is recommended as the material proves more unstable than initial analysis indicated. Glacial wastes. Research Outpost Glacier 1 is the Phendrana Drifts region of Talon 4's mountains is operating at 85% capacity. Sub-zero temperatures have made the Metroids sluggish and easy to control, even those well into Phazon infusion cycles. Cold containment stasis tanks are sufficient for the juveniles, but some of the larger Metroids have been moved to quarantined caves for safety purposes. Security doors remain an issue, as malfunctions due to the ice occur every day. Large predators in the wastes are also a concern as they continue to kill personnel and breach security areas. Unfortunately, it has become clear that our containment teams cannot neutralize all of them without vast increase in munitions and soldiers. And then I come along. Most terraforming and retrofitting of security checkpoints on Talon 4 is complete, but we continue to research the alarming epidemic of breaches by local creatures. Door records show no unauthorized entries, so we must presume the creatures are either slipping in undetected during daily personnel moves or finding their way through the subterranean tunnels. We have found many small breaches of this latter sort and plug them whenever we can, but it is unlikely that they will ever achieve full extermination without our current timetable. Meta Ridley! The reconstruction of Geoform 187, codenamed Ridley, was recently completed. After his defeat on Zebes, Command ordered a number of metagenic improvements for him. Though aggressive, we were able to implement these changes in a cycle. The metamorphosis was painful, but quite successful in the end. Early tests indicate a drastic increase in strength, mobility, and offensive capabilities. Cybernetic modules and armor plating have been added as well. We believe our creation, now called Meta Ridley, will become a mainstay of our security force, a job he will certainly relish. Phazon Infusion. Confidence is high regarding Phazon applications. We know enough about Phazon now to begin combining it with Space Pirate DNA. The code name for this venture will be Project Helix. Preliminary studies indicate that Phazon infusion could produce radical new pirate genomes. Benevolent mutation levels are high in current test subjects. Phazon madness is a concern, but refinements in the infusion process should reduce or neutralize the odds of mental degradation. Space Pirate encrypted data. Initial Project Helix experiments with Space Pirate embryos were disastrous. The Phazon infusion process degenerated brain tissues even as it augmented muscle mass. None of what we have termed elite pirates lived to maturity. The few that survived their infanthood survived severe psychotic breakdowns as juveniles, killing anything within their zone of perception. Research team Scalera was made a recent breakthrough in which parasites studied with a Phazon strain codenamed Vertigo were highly successful. Since then, we have successfully fused Vertigo Phazon with Space Pirate DNA with great success. The latest batch of elite pirates have reached maturity successfully and are ready for field testing and training. Impact Crater. Investigations in the possible ingress point for the Impact Crater continue to meet with failure. The shield of the strange energy that protects it is impermeable, and all attempts to tunnel past it have proven fruitless. Our continued futility in this matter is made all the more significant in light of a recent lifeform readings we've discovered emanating from deep within the crater. Analysis of the readings indicate that a massive creature is gestating there, absorbing enormous amounts of Phazon from the Phazon core at the heart of the impact crater. This discovery makes accessing the crater doubly important. Not only will it open the door to the vast deposits of Phazon within, but it will also lead us to this creature, whatever it may be. Hunter weapons. Science team is attempting to reverse engineer Samus Aran's arsenal. Based on data acquired from her assaults on our forces, progress is slow and steady. Command would deeply enjoy turning Aran's weapons against her. We believe we can implement beam weapon prototypes into 3 cycles. Aran's power suit technology remains a mystery, especially the curious morph ball function. All attempted duplicating it have ended in disaster. 4 test subjects were horribly broken and twisted when they engaged our morph ball prototypes. Science team wisely decided to move on afterwards. Omega Pirate. Elite Pirate Upsilon propensity for Phazon has enabled our research team to infuse it far beyond our safety restrictions, and the results have been extremely encouraging. Its constant Phazon diet has increased its mass exponentially, but it has also retained all mental faculties and shows dexterity with all elite weaponry, including plasma incendiary launchers and the chameleon manta issued for cloaking purposes. Elite Pirate Upsilon exhibits miraculous healing abilities when injured. It seeks out Phazon deposits and coats itself within the substance, which instantly mends the creature's wounds. The subject, which we are codenaming Omega Pirate, based on these developments, show potential to be a new standard for our armies. Our only concern at this point is a potential overdependence on Phazon. As we continue to observe the pirates of Project Helix's elite pirates, it becomes increasingly obvious that these new warriors will usher in a new era of space pirate dominance. They are incredibly resistant to damage, and their ability to transport and wield so many weapons at once makes them ideal mainstays for our ground forces. Though they are not as quick as typical pirates, it makes little difference. With a platoon of elite pirates in the vanguard of the army of normal and flying pirates, we will have near indestructible backbone that should turn the tide in any engagement. Gate system. Analysis continues on these cursed ruins and the Chozo temple that hovers near them. We are now completely certain that the containment field denying us access to the impact crater is linked to the strange artifacts that belong in the temple, but we are no closer to finding them or deciphering the riddles that seem to cover every wall of the ruined place. Command grows increasingly anxious for a resolution to this matter. We must redouble our efforts. X-ray squadrons will begin terrain sweeping within days. Until they begin, patrols are instructed to report any and all architectural anomalies to their commanders. Artifact. We have come to another dead end. It's clear now that we will never find and discover the locations of the Chozo artifacts until we can decipher the messages carved into the statues in the abominable temple. Our language databases are woefully inadequate, and our linguistic analysts can come up with little more than vague theories. The best hypothesis that we can offer is that finding these artifacts will require items spiritually linked to the Chozo civilization. However, without these items, we are lost, and Command grows more impatient by the day. Results must be produced soon. Metroid morphology. Metroid dissection continues to provide more questions than answers. Our research team has isolated the energy conduits that run from the invasive twin mandibles to the energy core in the creature's quadripartite nucleus. But the manner in which a Metroid actually extracts the life force from its prey victims remains an utter mystery. The victim does not lose any blood or any other vital fluids, yet the Metroid extracts energy, identifying this energy as our central problem. It takes no physical form, and yet, without it, the victim dies. We will continue research in this matter, as the isolation to this life-giving essence could be the key to our ascendance. Chozo studies. Results are in from field studies on the bioform group Chozo, who we believe are extinct. We believe that Talon 4 was once a stronghold in a great Chozo empire, brought low by the meteor strike. Planetary devastation brought an end to the Chozo, yet remnants of their society remain. We are studying these relics in an attempt to harness their power. What is of no use to us, we destroy. In time, we shall have all we need from this dead race and shall wipe this planet clean of their ugly ruins. The dead should serve the living, not hinder them. The key. Although we are still no closer to finding the artifacts of the Chozo, we have at least produced a viable hypothesis of their function. It appears each of these artifacts corresponds to one of the statues on the temple platform, and that each one acts as a small key to a huge lock. Judging by the number of statues, we assume there must be 12 artifacts. Once we find the rest of the spots of all 12, we can bring them here, unite them with their statues, and open the gate system at long last. Once we do, the impact crater and whatever creature it shelters will be ours for the taking. Metroid forces. Studies of Metroid biology continues throughout with limited progress. It seems likely that there will be much more successful using the Metroids for our means rather than trying to reproduce their powers. If they could be adequately tamed, we would have no need for their proper understanding of their metabolism. A small force of disciplined Metroids could wipe out entire armies, and once we find a way to shield them from the cold containment weapons, they will be invincible. Furthermore, if we could then harvest that energy they consumed, we would be a near limitless source of power at our disposal. Chozo ghosts. There have been numerous incidents involving spectral entities at Chozo ruin sites. Several personnel have been assaulted by these Chozo ghosts. Few have survived. Survivors speak of swift attacks from nowhere, brief sightings of the enemy, and then nothing, only to be followed by another attack. Science team believes these attacks are a response to our efforts to recover Chozo relics and artifacts. Somehow these entities were able to interact with the physical world, and it appears that they wish to keep their artifacts to themselves. We will make them pay for such arrogance, or even the ghosts can be destroyed. But Mario told me ghosts don't die. And there you go. That's all of that. So now, we got the Chozo lore. This will talk about everything in Metroid Prime. So, beginnings. Chozo script translated. The history of the Chozo stretches back into ancient times, so far into the fog of the past that we know not where our ancestors came from. One thing is clear, however. The Chozo who colonized Talon 4 made a conscious choice to eschew a civilization of advanced technology. We Chozo chose to live in harmony with nature, guided by the providence of the universe. We believe we will spend peaceful days here, and plan to leave our worlds from time to time. Harmonization. Many long years have passed since we Chozo first took root in this land. The passage of time has always been a source of fascination to us. It is the belief of many Chozo sages that the truths of the universe hide within the tumbling currents of time's flow. Even as we search for answers there, however, we find illumination in other unexpected places. We know not how the ability has come to us, but recently many Chozo have begun to sense things beyond our realm of ordinary perception. Strange sights and inexplicable sensations flood our minds, filling us with visions. We take this growing ability as a sign of our burgeoning harmonization with the infinite, Perhaps, finally, the universe's secrets are becoming known to us. Purification. The surge of negative energy brought by a meteor far exceeded our expectations. We Chozo have yet to find a way to rid ourselves of the great poison. All we can do now is seal it away and wait for the day when the power to purify the poison appears. However, it's already impossible to collect all the pieces of the great poison as it is already spread, seeping into the planet and hardening. That's the Phazon meteor. Worm. Many Chozo are gifted with distant sight. Even more begin to learn it as harmonization with the universe becomes more and more complete. We peer forward, seeing prophecy in the ripples of the water, hearing rumors of the coming days of the breath of the wind, on the breath of the wind. Though we celebrate the distant sight, many of these visions are dark. The worst of the prophecies, and the most common, tells of the coming of the worm, born from parasites, nurtured in a poison womb. The worm grows, devouring from within until the world begins to rot. Not all prophecies come to pass, of course. We cannot hope but help to fear this dark portent. Meteor strike. Disaster struck suddenly. We had become a vague dark. We had a vague dark foreboding, and it came true. A meteor appeared from nowhere, casting a dark shadow of debris over the land with the violence of its impact. Its destructive force spent, the fallen star burned itself out rapidly, and incident should have faded into memory. But the meteor brought with it a corruption. A great poison burst forth into the land, and strange energy that clawed at natural life with a ferocity. That strange negative energy emitted from the meteor expanded to encompass Talon 4 in a night, as spider weaves its web. Spreading evil. The cries of this dying land echo in our ears as we Chozo watch the great poison seep ever further into the dark, living pulse of the planet. The dark energy sinks into the trees and waters, devouring all life. Peaceful beasts die by the thousands. Some creatures survive, but their forms grow as twisted and evil as the force that fell from the sky. Many of these mutated monstrosities remain small enough to do little harm, but others grow enormous and threaten our very existence. One such beast defiles our sacred fountain, disgorging poison from its foul form, replacing pure flowing water with cascades of creeping death. Even in the face of such horror, we Chozo do not turn in fear. We are all that stands in the way of this great poison, and our duty to contain it. So that was Flogara in the Chozo ruins. Fountain. The future is a vague thing, ever changing and always in doubt. Even if we Chozo could gain the ability to foresee the future, it would be a hollow gift, for we could never hope to control what has yet to occur. The fountain in this example is an example of this. The day may come when the water dries up, and there will be nothing we could do to stop such a tragedy. But we do know this. Unlike uncertain flow of water, the power of our will is strong and enduring. The will of the Chozo will never run dry. Cipher. As the great poison reaches ever further into the planet, we Chozo begin to feel the gnawing of despair. Before it is too late, we must make our last stand. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness. At its heart, we will place a cipher, a mystical lock powered by 12 artifacts and filled with as much power as we Chozo can harness. We wonder, though, even when we are done, will it be too late? And will this power of this temple and cipher itself prove strong enough to hold the poisonous tide that even now swells within the ground and threatening all life? Great poison. What is this otherworldly pestilence that infests the land, seeking out in a blind need for corruption? Did the meteor that brought it originate? Was it crafted by alien hands, or was it a roving chunk of a planet that suffered a violent end? Our minds quail in horror at the thought that long ago, in some corner of the universe, as yet unseen in our eyes, an entire planet was perhaps once coated with this great poison. Whatever cataclysm might have ruptured that doomed place must have been mighty, indeed, and if other meteors from it spread through space, bearing this evil to the far corners of the universe, we will hold fast and hope that this is not so, that the only surviving remnants of that evil are here on Talon 4. Then, at least, there will be hope for its eradication. Trusted ones. So many creatures suffer beneath the blight of this land, and we Chozo are no exception. But, for all of our pain, we can at least believe in the promise of the future. We have come to believe that a time may never come when we can once again open the door and banish the darkness we've contained. Even so, our vigilance will forever remain. We believe that on some far off day, a Savior will come and continue what we have begun. For that Savior, we will leave our ancient weapons and armor. The soul who can gather them will be the entrusted one, and the one who begin to reverse the evil that grows here. Contain. The containment of the great poison, this task has fallen to the Chozo, and we will not flee from our duty, even as we suffer from the land and its creatures. We will pour our will into the 12, the artifacts which the lock that holds the great evil at bay in the depths of the planet. This lock must stand up to all who might come to assault it. To preserve the power of the seal and to protect it from those who would meddle for their own designs, we will spread the artifacts across the land, hiding them from prying eyes. The lock must never be opened until the day when this disaster can finally be put right. Prophecy of Light. This actually ties into Metroid Prime 2 right here. Throughout our living nightmare, as we battle this unyielding darkness, we Chozo see a light. This light grows with a promise, chasing the shadows cast by the great poison and purifying that which has grown toxic. It is strange, though. At times, it looks to our eyes as if the light coalesces into a figure of a woman, burning brightly. The luminescence descends from space, then retreats into the infinite blackness from whence it came. When this prophecy comes to pass, when the light recedes, the Chozo's long vigilance of containment will finally come to an end. So the light and dark are a big thing in Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, as we'll see. Cradle. None know if our temple, the Cradle, will prove powerful enough to contain the evil forever. For now, it wraps around that abomination, cutting it off from the world above. However, we believe the power of Cipher, which has been produced by linking the 12 artifacts, should be strong enough. The fate of this world is now left to the one who will collect the artifacts in the future. The time when the entrusted one knows is approaching. Infestation. The entrusted one. If you read these words, then our hope has not been in vain. Your path is fraught with danger. Monstrosities beyond description lurk in the shadows, starving, hunting for prey, searching for ways to quench the poisonous urges that bloom in their brains. Some of these are shrewd, but they are blinded by their evil designs. Believing in the black promise of the great poison, they seek to harness it for their own ends. It is these last that are the greatest danger. When you rid the universe of these creatures, you will be the true entrusted one. Shapeless. Things bound to earthly shapes are temporal and frail. Existing in a single dimension, they are fragile, vulnerable, and ultimately mortal. However, not all things obey this law. Shapeless, they wait beyond the realm of perception, emerging only when one arrives who can feel their presence. Such is the will of the Chozo. Our will to defeat the evil seeping into this planet remains. We desire only to see the darkness meet its end. The will of the Chozo has no mind or reasoning of its own, though. This will be the entrusted one's trial. The last one, the Shining One. The power of our temple and the 12 artifacts has sealed an evil in the depths of this planet. However, the future is cloudy to us, a world of veils where the dark apparitions flit in the shadows. Within this strange world, one image stands out in the mist, flickering through the landscape wraith-like. It is a human, a lone figure shining in the toxic shadow. We Chozo do not know what it is, but our hearts swell with hope of a promise that that glowing one. We will place our faith in our shrine. We will be there when the light shines upon our land. And then the Chozo died out. Okay, so we'll do creatures last. We don't really need, I do want gunship. Zibis. Profile. Planet's crust is primarily etheric ore made of for ideal subterranean construction. A class that is 19 planet. Zebes is inhospitable to most bioforms. The world was considered unremarkable until it became a base for the space pirate forces. I mean, it used to also be a Chozo planet. Talon 4. Ecosystem studies indicate that Talon 4 was a biological paradise prior to the impact of the extraterrestrial object. What remains of the biosphere is slowly fading due to the exposure to the phazon radiation. At this rate of decay, Talon 4 will be a barren class 13 wasteland in approximately 25 years. Wow. Okay, there should be some more planets. SR388. Oh. I could have sworn there was SR388 on here. That was the home planet of them. Right, so we got the artifacts. Truth. Translate runes on the totem surface. The artifact of truth awaits those who truly seek it. The heart of Magmore can... Oh, wait, no. This is just telling us where they are. Well, the main things I wanted to read were the pirate data and the Chozo lore. Then I want to see Metroid Prime Core. Well, I read that one. Metroid Prime. The apparition known as Metroid Prime is a source of phazon, making it immensely powerful. A genetic flaw makes it susceptible only to certain weapons for brief periods. Only its head is truly vulnerable. Other attacks are a nuisance. Offensively, Metroid Prime has a number of natural and mechanical weapons at its disposal. These include ultra-frigid breath, multi-missiles, snare beams, and particle wave projectors. Its massive strength and barbed carapace make it lethal in melee combat. Recommended maximum firepower for when engaging this enemy. Ridley! Reborn and evolved through the pirate's technology, Meta Ridley is a fearsome enforcer. His armored hide is extremely resilient, save for the chest, which has thinner plating. The pirates have fused a number of potent weapons to this creature, including a multi-missile system, a kinetic breath weapon, a meson bomb launcher, and the ultra-thermal flame strike projector. Meta Ridley is also a formidable melee combatant, making any sort of engagement a risky proposition. Omega Pirate. Omega Pirate can become vulnerable to normal sight. It is vulnerable when cloaked, as all enemy is energy is drawn from its defense systems. By exposing itself to Phazon, it can regenerate damaged tissues and organs. Considered the pinnacle of the elite pirate program, this enemy should be handled with extreme caution and maximum firepower. Thardus. The Phazon radiation... Hold on. An animated sentient creature of stone charged with Phazon radiation. This Phazon radiation given off by Thardus negates auto-targeting systems, preventing lock-on. It may be possible to target... Okay, so this doesn't give me anything on Thardus. Phlegara. Phlegara's growth cycle has been radically accelerated. As a result, it is required near consistent exposure to the solar energy to remain active. This exposure has made Phlegara's outer shell thick and durable. Its lower root system is unprotected and vulnerable, however. Exploit this flaw when possible. Concentrated weapon fire can daze it for short periods. Vision Metroid is a mutant capable of splitting into two. It is splits and endows the new creature with invulnerability to most weaponry. This effect is unstable, resulting in weaknesses to a type of weapon fire. The vulnerability appears to be random due to chaotic nature of Phazon mutation. God, I hate Vision Metroids. Hunter Metroid. As Metroids develop, they become more efficient predators. Energy-draining tentacles allow them to attack at a distance. Quick to anger, a Hunter Metroid will charge troublesome prey and attempt to ram them into submission. Cold-based attacks are still quite effective against these creatures. Talon Metroid. The effects of Phazon have turned these Metroids, a species of alpha predator native to SR388, into a unique subspecies found only on Talon 4. A Talon Metroid will latch onto its prey and drain energy, growing larger as it does. The only way to shake it off is to an attached Talon Metroid is to enter Morph Ball mode and lay a bomb. Phazon Elite. The Phazon charged elite pirates rely on more on their Wavequake generators, opting not to carry the vulnerable plasma artillery cannon. This is the alpha elite pirate, by the way, this one. Plasma artillery cannons normally used by elites. The direct fusing of Phazon into their bodies provides a tremendous level of energy that drastically lowers the lifespan. That concerns with this process is little concern to the pirate research team. Elite pirate. The elite pirates are potent foes. Their energy siphon systems absorb beam weapon shots. The nature of this system makes them vulnerable to the concussion-based weapons. Well-armed elite pirate is effective in close combat and at a distance. Their massive size can be a weakness, and their sluggish speed allows for them for evasive and quick attacks. Okay, now I want to see the troopers. Power Trooper. Space pirates have reverse engineered several of your weapons, including the power beam. A flaw in the design makes these pirates vulnerable to their own weapon system. These weapons are inferior to your Chozo design originals, but still quite potent. So this is the wave beam one, same thing. And then we got the ice one. And plasma. What's the glider? Oh, that thing. Alright, so that is pretty much everything I wanted to read. Alright, and what I want to do is I want to quit the game. I know that was a lot of reading. I don't know if people really care about that. But hey, it's fun that you got this little lore going on throughout the game. It's always really interesting. Alright. Alright, so now we're going to go into extras. Concept gallery. Biology. So we got 42 of 43 items unlocked. So we got Samus, and the Chozo. Samus concept art. Samus in the back. Concept art. I don't know what the one I'm missing is. So these are different poses. He's a little squishy. squishy dude. The creepier squishy dude. Parasite Queen, the bombs, stone toads, the leviathans in Magmore Caverns, the platform in Magmore Caverns that you shoot. I think these are supposed to be, yeah, these are the Triclops beetles, Chozo ghosts, Chozo, Phlegara, bugs, baby Sheegoth. Shriek bats? No, these are the things that crawl. Pirates. Pirate. Hunter Metroid. Whatever this thing is. Drones. Pirates. Pirate. More of those. The Elite Pirate. Ridley. Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime. Ridley. Ridley. And Metroid Prime. Then we got Biology Remastered. We got Parasite Queen, War Wasp. The creatures that you can shoot. I still can't believe it took so long for one of them. The Plated Beetle, Stone Toad. This is the War Wasp Hive Nest. Chozo Ghost, Phlegara, Bombs, the Baby Sheegoth, Adult Sheegoth, Thardus, Shriek Bats and Ice Shriek Bats, Ice Enemies, Plants, Triclops Beetles, Hunter Metroids, still scare me, Pirates. This is the Omega Pirate. This is the Elite Pirate. This is the Elite Pirate. And then these are the Troopers. Beetles. Things. Alpha Pirate. The world. So this is just concept art for the world. This is the Chozo Temple. Mushrooms. Metroid Prime design doc for how the worlds are laid out. And finally, the world remastered. We got Parasite Queen. So Frigate Orphan. A lot of Frigate Orphan, Talon Overworld, Crashed Frigate, Chozo Ruins, Phlegara, Chozo Ruins, still Chozo Ruins, Magmore Caverns, more Magmore Caverns, Pendrana Drifts. Do I have any of the Phase on mine? Underwater, Phase on Mines, Phase on Mine, and Phase on Mine. Alright, so that's concept art. Character gallery. Yep, you get little trophies for doing this. So we've got the gunship, the power suit, the various suit, hut, gravity suit, hut, in purple. Phase-on suit, hut, in orange. We got Morph Ball, Spider Ball, the Auto Turret, the Injured Pirates, Parasites, Parasite Queen, Beetle, War Wasp, Generator Drone, Hive Mecha, Bladed Beetle, Phlegara, Gemmer, or Gemer, Chozo Ghost. I love that it still has like the spectral effect on it. That's cool. Baby Sheegoth, the Adult Sheegoth, Thordis. Mega Turret. Space Pirate. Troopers. Cool, it's got all 4 of them. The Elite Pirate. The Omega Pirate. The Shadow Pirate. The Flying Pirate. The Aqua Pirate. The Phazon Elite. There's only one of them. Ridley! It's actually really cool. I love that. Little squishy dudes! Those are fission Metroids. Oh god, the Hunter Metroid. Metroid Prime in its beetle form. And finally, the Metroid Prime Core. And we got the soundtrack gallery, where you can listen to all the music that you want, except for apparently missing a few song soundtracks. The Crash Ship is such a good track. Spinrunner Drifts. All right. And there you go, folks. Yeah, I know I'm missing a few things in the concept art and the character gallery, but my main goal was to complete Metroid Prime with 100% completion for the items and logbook, and we succeeded. We now have learned more about Talon 4 than we couldn't have beforehand, so I'm going to call it for this project. So anyway, everyone, I'm going to end it off right here. This has been Neronium, and I thank you all for watching Metroid Prime Remastered. Stay tuned for more projects coming in the future, and I'll see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to check out more Metroid action, check out the top link for a playthrough of Metroid Samus Returns on a Nintendo 3DS. And if you want to see another Nintendo game that was recently released as a remaster, check out the bottom link for Kirby's Return to Dreamland, originally played on the Nintendo Wii.